Hi, this is Joanne Hewins from LoveToCreate.typepad.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I want to talk to you about how to make this card. This technique is called the Joseph's Coat technique, I believe. And let's get started. I'll show you how we're going to make that. I'm going to start with a card base of 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to score that. I'm going to score that at 4.25, and I'm also going to score it at 3.25. So 4.25 and 3.25. So I'm going to, sorry about that. I'm going to fold this using my bone folder, matching my corners, and then for this fold, I'm just going to fold the back like this. And this is just going to be adhered here so that it's just a little bit of a different opening, not much of a fun fold, but a little bit of a fun fold. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some adhesive down through there. And that will take care of the fun fold part of it is actually done. Okay. So I have some designs here on the back of the card, the background of the card, and we're going to do that using the Stamparatus. Now I have it set up for this because actually I did it in a class, and it's easier with multiples. Now in the class I did not have these two pieces. I had used them for something else, so I've added those in, and we are going to be using Versamark to put that on. So I'm going to put my card base in about there. And what I did is I just kind of looked at where it was going to go to help me decide where I wanted to put it. And I'm going to ink this up with the Versamark. And this is just going to give it a tone on tone look. And you can see that this does not go all the way down to the end. So I'm merely going to take this and turn it around. Can you tell I'm using a different Versamark pad? So the one I'm using here has a whole lot more juiciness to it. And I'm just going to ink right up in here because the rest of that isn't going to go on there. So what I did is I just kind of put it about where I thought it would go. And there we are with that background. That's pretty vibrant, much more vibrant than the sample, but that's fine. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way for a few minutes, and I'm going to bring in a piece of Whisper White. This is cut at, I think it's 3 3/4 by 5, but we're going to be cutting it down. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to pull out some sponge daubers. You can tell these have been well used. And we're going to be using these colors: Granny Apple Green, Real Red, Mango Melody, and Crushed Curry. And what we're going to do, it doesn't really matter what you start with. It looks like somebody might have put that in the wrong one, but no, looks like it's okay. So I have re-inked these pads also as well. And what I'm going to do is just put color on these. I want my color to be bright and vibrant. I want it to be deep. And we're just going to put the color all over this piece. Okay. This is kind of a messy card to make, but beautiful. So I think I'll stop there. We'll get out the real red. And I do have my daubers labeled so that we know the colors that we're using for each one. And I just want my colors to connect with one another so that the whole front is covered. This is definitely one of those cards where you're probably going to need to wash your hands when you're done, especially if you're going to be making other cards. And there's really no correct place to put your colors, just over the front. So we'll stop there and do our Mango Melody. Now there's really not a humongous amount of difference between the Mango Melody and the crushed curry once it gets on here. Of course, now that I've re-inked it, it may be. And it looks like I've just about covered up most of this, so I'll do a little bit more of this, and then the rest we'll do in the crushed curry. Not a super amount of difference, but some in the crushed curry and the Mango Melody. Okay, so our front of our card is covered all the way now. And our next step is going to be to stamp this with Versamark. So I'm going to bring my paper back in, and I'm going to place it right in this corner here. And I will ink again with the Versamark. If I can figure out where I placed it. And again, I didn't get the very bottom part of this, so I'm going to put it on here again. I think that would work. And I'm just going to do the very bottom part of this. Okay, now I don't think you can see that, but there's a little bit of a shine to the paper there. Let me cover up my Versamark. It won't do to have that there for me to put things in. This is Clear Embossing Powder. And I'm just going to put some of this on the front of this paper. And it will cover the Versamark that we have on here. Nothing like making a mess, huh? So I'm going to try to get off some of that extra. And I think I've got some right in there that did not stick. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I'm going to drop my lid, so I'm just going to put that way over there out of the way. And if you will excuse the heat tool, please. I'm going to heat that up. This will take just a few minutes. And hopefully you can see where the shiny is heating up the powder. Now this piece is larger than what I need it to be, and I did that on purpose so I could just cut it down in case part of it didn't turn out looking as good as the rest. And there we go. So the next thing that I'm going to do is bring in some early espresso, and it looks like I put that away. Here we go. I'm going to take early espresso and I'm going to kind of drag that over the surface of this cardstock. And you can see that the dark color absorbs, well, where the paper is, but has a resist where you have your embossing. So I'm going to bring in some Kleenexes or paper towels or whatever you have, and I'm just going to rub over that to rub off the excess. And here we are with the panel that we're going to need. Now you can see that over here this did not stamp very well and resist very well, so that's part I'm going to cut off of this one. Now my advice is to just take your grid paper and turn it over so you have a better surface to use. It's not going to get your things dirty. And I have a label cut, sorry, I'm dropping things, cut to mount this on. And what I'm going to do is cut this down to 2.5 by 4.5. So 2.5 by 4.5. Okay, and I'm also going to cut a piece that is 2 7/8 by maybe 3/4 out of that to use on the inside of the card. So these other pieces will be leftovers. And I will glue this to the back. And I'm trying to keep the dirtiness of my hands off of that. This is where normally I would run in and wash my hands. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to turn that over to press it. Okay, and so this is going to go on the front cover of our card. So we'll glue that in the center. There. Okay, there we go. Now I have a piece of the suede, I guess it's early espresso suede or brown espresso. Anyway, it's a brown ribbon, and we're just going to tie that around into a knot there in the front. I'm going to trim that just a little so that it's about the same in measurement. And then we need to have our label here in the front. Now I am going to, this is a 5 1/4 by 3 piece of white. Now I will have all the measurements on the coordinating blog post, and that will be identified with the video on YouTube. I'm going to put that there, the bottom. We'll put some glue here. And this is going to go inside. And I'm really afraid I'm going to get some smudge on that. I'm going to close it and do this. And I don't really have anything stamped on the inside as a saying. You could write whatever you wish. So let's talk about the saying that we're going to put here. This is from the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. And I'm going to use the Stamparatus for this as well. I'm going to put it here in the corner. And with my Early Espresso, I'm going to stamp my saying. And I think, I moved that just a tad. It may not be good. Now, oops, did you see what I just did? Okay, let me clean off the stamp. My chamois here. And I'm going to clean that off before I get it everywhere. And then what I'm going to do is come back in with the Versamark, stamp my saying again, and then that's going to go right on top of where I had stamped before. Hopefully I got that pretty close. We'll put this out of the way again. Let me do my clear emboss. Good. And then we'll quickly heat this up. And this is going to make us have a saying that looks embossed, even though we don't have brown embossing powder. Now I'm going to cut this out with the layering circles dies, and instead of dragging all that in, I'm just going to do it off camera real quick. Loudly, it seems. And my desk, if you can see it, is really full of stuff. So you may hear a lot of stuff. All right, I have that done. And I'm going to add this to the card with some dimensionals. And it's going to turn out that there's a place right here that really doesn't look quite as good. And I can put this right over the top of that so that it hides some of that. So here we are. I actually have a couple of these, and I had robbed the ribbon from this one to put on this one because I've run out now. But there you go. There's 3 cards that are made pretty much the same using the Joseph's coat technique. I hope you'll try it. And please remember that I am a demonstrator. I do sell the supplies. If you're interested, lovetocreate.typepad.com, and I would appreciate your help in your business. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.